Right. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome Justin Dux. He is host of Career Cloud Radio, has over 4 years of Salesforce experience, and is a fellow career development expert. So I'm super excited to have him on, and we're going to be able to pick his brain mainly about job searching and how to do that efficiently and effectively, specifically in the Salesforce space right now. So with that, let's go ahead and bring Justin on.
Hi.
Hey, Justin. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping out. Definitely excited. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I see your post on Facebook. I see your post on LinkedIn, and it's definitely all top notch. So I appreciate you letting us have you on here.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. So obviously, you and I talked a little bit about what we wanted to do with this video. And I think to kick things off, let's maybe dive right in and talk about, job postings and how to navigate those waters, because I think so many people have either been to high school and they talk to their high school counselors about how to search for jobs, or they went to college and they think they just know how to search for jobs. But when you're looking for a specific job in the Salesforce industry, or any industry, more than likely, you need to understand and be skilled at searching for specific jobs in that industry. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the great things about the Salesforce career path, and why I'm happy I found it, and why I think a lot of the people following you are happy about it, is you've gotten this hard skill that is being searched by recruiters. And that is so drastically different than any other part of my career in so many other industries. I mean, if you're working in hospitality management, there's not a ton of recruiters who are searching the keywords hospitality management. Mm-hmm. But if you're working in Salesforce, and there are hundreds and thousands of recruiters that are searching on a daily basis, I need to find another Salesforce administrator certified.
Right.
And that's just the difference maker right there.
Yep. All right. Awesome. Well, let's dive right in. I mean, without any further ado, let's just get into the meat of it and see what's going on in here. So I know that I typically use LinkedIn jobs when I do my searching. It's just easier for me because I tell a lot of people about LinkedIn profiles and all these kind of things. So a one-stop shop, I think, makes it easy. But I know that you coach a lot of people in and out of Salesforce and other things. So what is your recommended tool?
I have been using Indeed for the last 5 or 6 years, and okay. I'm going to show you some reasons why. It's because of how I can search with it and trust their results.
Excellent.
LinkedIn Jobs has some great results. I usually find those to be more senior level, more professional. A lot of firms on LinkedIn for that recruiter mention I made earlier. Okay. Firms meaning consultancy firms or agency type work, where you're going to be working with a lot of clients instead of like for the employer and their instance.
Right.
So when I say the word firms, that's what I mean by that. Okay. So I wanted to show some people some tricks that I do on Indeed that can really take your searching to the next level. Before I begin with searching, let me just make this quick point. Read postings. Read a lot of postings. When you've read hundreds of postings, you're going to spot patterns and red flags in a posting that stand out to you. You start to recognize that this looks like a junior posting because it doesn't have any single mention of the word Apex in it. Okay. You're going to start to recognize when they're hybridizing the role and saying, this is a Salesforce admin / business analyst. Well, you're in for a tight race there to get to the top spot and get that job offer if you're new to the industry. So here at the top, I'm searching Salesforce administrator. I've seen a couple other videos trying to demonstrate this, and I was a little disappointed they didn't go into more detail. So I want to show you the trick. I search Salesforce administrator, 2 words, 1 space, and I get 2,400 results. This is nationwide because I didn't put anything in the where clause over here on the right. Let's just do a quick update with this search and add the word remote since they were suggesting it. I'm down to 310 jobs that might be remote. But what I want to call out to people is this is a search function of the platform. And so what it's done is it's searched the word Salesforce and the word administrator separately. And that's why you'll find a ton of developer results usually when you leave it just this way. There's that hybrid I was telling you about. It's Salesforce admin BA. I'm on second page. Usually I see some developer postings by now. Must be a good day to search, guys. It's really confusing. Watch, they've changed their program. Oh, here we go. Here's my first hybrid. Third page. Yesterday when I did this and prep for this, it was right on the first page. About half of them were already developer jobs.
Sure.
So anyway, what it's done is it's looked for both words separately. What people got to do is type in a quotation mark, and now you make it a string search. You're searching for both of these words next to each other.
Perfect. Yeah. So for everybody, if that, if you're new to this stuff, it's very similar to Salesforce when you're actually building, some of these strings of words out. But to Justin's point, there's a difference between searching Salesforce and searching administrator. Those are two separate words that this, search engine is looking for. And when you put that quotation around it, you're actually telling the Indeed search, or this could be on LinkedIn or anywhere else, you're telling that search to look for this entire string all at once, not separately, so we can hone in on the jobs we're actually looking for.
Right. And if you read hundreds of postings too, you're going to start to notice this other pattern. Not every employer uses the terms that we're used to talking about as students, right? So let me change it real quick to salesforce.com, which I see on about 20% of postings.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go from 754 jobs down to 154 jobs.
Sure.
If you're out there applying 3 to 10 times a week for a new job, you might want to start with these because they're going to have fewer applicants because they're using what I would consider incorrect language in their posting. But that's not a surefire technique. It's just about maximizing your time, because every application should take you about an hour with the online application process. You can't be applying to 745 jobs. You got to be targeting down and removing these developer ones, which brings me to my next tip, which is not only can you put a string search with quotations, you can do a minus sign in these. So a moment ago, you saw me search for Salesforce administrator. Results were 745. You can put in minus developer, and I've cut it down in half yet again. And by now is where I'm going to start to see probably some of those junior and seniors show up a little bit more. If I was doing this a lot last year when I was looking for my job, I was removing the word senior. If it was like a Friday night, I had plans somewhere to go or some TV show to watch, and I wanted to only apply to one job tonight.
Yep.
I might say, I don't want to waste my time applying to that senior job.
That's great. Yep. So just tossing in again, I mean, it's a simple tip. It's just, put minus, and it's understanding the way that these, search functionalities work, and, putting a minus sign in here because and this could go for anything, you don't have to follow this video, step by step, but if you're looking for jobs and you keep going, man, I have to keep scrolling because I keep seeing a particular keyword that doesn't make sense for me, then just toss in that minus, the word you don't want to see, and then continue your search. It's going to help you move faster, get less frustrated with some of these results.
Right. And I want to tell people too, the limitation of this technique. This is a tool to be efficient and save more time. You will miss some opportunities if you just live by it, though.
That's right.
So, for example, removing the word developer, what you're going to lose then is any postings where the hiring manager was smart enough to say, and this admin will be working closely with our senior developer and the architect. You just lost all those postings.
Yep.
So there is a limitation to be aware of. But my guess is people watching a job board, they're watching it constantly. And this is a little trick here that I think can help a ton. Yeah. And then the other thing I spotted that's kind of fun about Salesforce is right now we're the only group that I know that uses the word lightning, and you can get straight to some cool postings if you just go, well, not lighting. Sorry, I was searching something for my sister here. Lightning. There we go. And you'll get 5,000 jobs now.
Very cool. And they all kick off with Salesforce. That's pretty funny. I like that. All right. So just put lightning in there, and probably not too many other jobs that have lightning in the name then.
Yep.
That's great. Very cool. So what do you think about, I noticed you said, you looked remote, and, I don't think we touched on necessarily where you would expect people to search. And I think the current pandemic has maybe changed the game a little bit with, where you might want to search. Do you have any, I'm sure you do. Do you have any information about that? What you might suggest around, searching locally versus nationwide or anything like that at this point?
Absolutely. Right now, people should be searching nationwide. And what they have to be willing to do is apply to jobs anyway.
Okay.
even if the posting tries to say local candidates only. And I have a very simple reason for that. There's no vaccine for this virus yet. And the employers are saying temporarily remote up to 6 months. Why does the employer get to be temporarily remote and we as candidates don't also? That's unfair. It's up to you to get the job, tell them you want to work for them forever. Yeah, sure, I'll consider relocation when we get that far, but let's work for 6 months and figure out if we like each other. Because if they really like you, they're going to let you stay beyond 6 months. And next June, we might not even be going back to the office yet. So maybe this turns into a year anyway.
That's right.
When we started this pandemic on March 13th, my employer said we'll be back to the office by November. They updated it in July. We'll be back. The soonest we'll be back is January. Just last week, my employer was saying, guys, we know it's hard to plan. There's too much uncertainty. So to do you guys a favor, the soonest you'll be back is June 1st.
Okay.
The soonest. So they're saying we will not bring you back before then.
Yep. I think that's spot on. And I think it's the key word there, right? It's uncertainty. We're all uncertain. The employers are uncertain. We're uncertain. I think if you had asked me 2 or 3 months ago, what are hirings, new employee hirings looking like? And I would have said, no, it's slowed down considerably. Within the last month, I would say it has definitely picked back up considerably. And I think it's companies getting used to the fact that we're uncertain about what's going to happen with this virus. And all they can do is get back to a new norm. And they're starting to settle with that. Even some of these old school mentalities that would say, I'll never let someone work remote. They're finally going, yeah, maybe I'll let somebody work remote. And back to your other point, it's, okay, so you can do 6 months of a job. And I can pretty well guarantee you, if you come in, even as a junior resource, and you give them 100%, and don't take advantage of the fact that you're remote, and don't take advantage of, obviously don't do that anyway, but especially right now, make sure that you give them 100% or better. And at the end of 6 months, even if they're saying, okay, we're ready for everybody to come into the office, we're so excited. At that point, you can raise your hand. And yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be a fun conversation or, they're going to be excited about you not coming in. But I can tell you it is very difficult to rehire any employee, much less someone with a specific skill set that is somewhat hard to find. So I would say at 6 months, if you've been doing a good job, and especially after a year, if you've been doing a good job, they are, I would say 90% likely going to let you stay regardless. And even if they let you go, you now have 6 months to a year of experience under your belt. It's going to be so much easier. That's the hardest part. The first job is the hurdle. After that, the Salesforce career path just sort of, you become far more in control of your future once you get that first job.
100%. And I just did a search while you were describing that in the where clause remote and the what clause, I contradicted myself with temporarily remote and then added the word Salesforce like we showed at the beginning. There's 5,000 jobs right now across the nation that are saying they're remote, but not also saying they're temporarily remote. Right. There's opportunity out there, but what I don't want people to take away from these last 5 minutes is you have a tool in front of you to target better and use your time more wisely. But the mistake people make is they stop trying on the ones that got thrown out. There's still really great networking to do with those people, trying to get interviews for the practice, even though you might not get a job offer. There's some techniques there too, if you've got the time.
Excellent. So while we're here, we're staring at a job posting right now. And I know if you're talking to a junior resource, the one we're looking at right now may be a little over their head, maybe not. We don't know. But can we talk a little bit about how to, even just at a high level, how to dissect a job posting, how to review a job posting, and some key tips from that? Because I know I talk a lot with the people that I work with about not disqualifying yourself and letting this potential employer disqualify you instead of the other way around. I mean, trust me, you're going to get disqualified by a lot of employers. The worst thing you can do is disqualify yourself on top of it. So can we talk a little bit about, I know a lot of people say, I don't have 2 to 3 years experience, or they need a 4-year degree, or they said they wanted somebody with 4 certifications or whatever. Can we talk through, maybe some of your tips on how to look at these job postings and how to figure out, not does this posting say it's a good fit for me, but how I can read it and determine for myself if this is a good fit for me.
Great question. So when people throw themselves out, they're usually reading the posting on the screen here, literally. And they need to read it like a wish list, desire list of the employer. Because you got to understand, a lot of these postings get put up with an old job description from the last time they hired this person.
Right.
They might also have promoted this person and rewrote the job description to fit that person internally. And they know that's what this person had. And so they're just trying to get that person back as fast as possible now that they've gotten a new job.
Yep.
And so when you recognize that, you can go to, you start to recognize that anything in the desired column, do not stop yourself from applying because you're missing those. Do not. Like, absolutely apply even if you're missing every single one of these things in the desired. But then up in the minimums, people still read these too literally. If you've got even half of these, you should be applying. So here's another clue that comes from only reading hundreds of these Salesforce postings in the last 4 years. Okay. So this is where most people put their attention. 5 years experience. Sometimes it says 3, sometimes it says 2, right? But there is another huge clue about this posting. And I don't know if you guys are spotting it. Over here in the name of the company, foundation. This is probably a nonprofit. This is probably not getting the same candidate pool as your Fortune 500 company. That means when they're asking for 5 years, they are really, really hoping, but that's not who's applying 9 times out of 10. So there's a good chance, even with 0 years experience, you can still get an interview here. And when they learn who you are and meet you and see the type of attitude and character you bring to their mission, they often will give you a shot before the Fortune 500, who might be a little bit more likely to need 5 years experience. So let's go up and learn a little bit more about this company. Is a family-forward health agency giving children who love them education and cutting-edge tools. You know, I'm not hearing, you know, a $1 billion company here. You know, this is going to have fundraising needs. This is going to have probably NPSP, you know, or something like that.
Yep.
Let's look at another one. It's probably too long on that one. See, this is a good example of something I would cut out of myself if I or self-select myself out of. Something mentioned in a very specialized skill like Marketing Cloud or SQL or CPQ. Those they put that in the title because they're desperately looking for that skill set. So if you're missing that one, that's a hint.
I would still say though on this, and I totally agree with your point that, you know, it says SQL, it says, we can see down below, Marketing Cloud power user. But when you look at this posting and you go, it's, you know, Salesforce admin with SQL experience. And then you can even see in the Cliff Notes, it's like 3 years of admin experience, 2 years of SQL experience. Who's applying for this? Because it says right in front of you, it only pays $60,000, which no one with 3 years of admin experience, no one with 1 year of admin experience is going to accept that, much less with SQL experience on top. So I would say there are probably a lot of, and you can see right there, urgently hiring. So you can see right there, they are desperate. They need someone, but guess what? 99% of qualified applicants are not applying because they're trying to pay someone entry-level wages where they actually, I would say if someone with 3 and 2 right here, Salesforce and SQL, you're looking at 100K plus. So they are basically causing anyone qualified to work for them not to apply. And therefore, it's another one of those windows they open up where you've created the situation where you found the diamond in the rough and you might be able to apply and say, hey, I don't know who else is applying. And really, you know, no one else is applying. And they might say, well, you know what? You know, that Brad didn't have the level of experience we wanted. He doesn't know about SQL, but he said he's going to learn it. And he started, you know, some kind of course about SQL. He's obviously determined. Maybe we'll give him a shot because he's the best thing applying.
100% agree. And I had not spotted yet the 2 year requirement. You're right. Anything less than 2 years startup, that's essentially entry level. It's funny when you said that, I got this little excitement because I do have novice SQL experience. And
Nice.
so while you were talking, I was like, oh man, that might actually be a good one for me too.
That's a good fit.
Yeah. Because I have a little bit. So also another little pro tip here with using Indeed.com is I want to show you a cool trick. So you called out the salary, and then I want to point out to the watchers here, because of our knowledge of the market and what pay rates are at, that meant something to see that thing 20% below. A SQL expert is getting 100K. A Salesforce expert is getting 100K. So seeing that 60 to 70 taught you something, right? But what about when you don't know it? Let me show you another Indeed trick that I'm pretty excited about.
Awesome.
So up here, I'm taking a job title of a posting that just kind of random, but I chose it because it didn't say the salary.
Okay.
And when you search it, now it's that Pearson one at the top. All I'm doing is making sure it shows up as the top result using enough of the title in it. And so now that I've got it here, here's this really fun trick you can do is start punching in the salary range. So you can say, okay, is this thing, sorry, it's got the word of remote stuck in there. I'm still trying to get rid of that.
Yep.
75K, search again. We're watching to see if Pearson stays there. Pearson dropped off. So my prediction here is that role is not paying 75K for the Marketing Cloud user one.
Okay.
And then, so the limitation of this trick is it gives you an idea, but remember, not every employer gives their salary range to Indeed.com. So what Indeed does is it uses its best guess based on other positions. There it is. It's still on the list. So I know this job is paying more than 65, but probably less. They don't want to pay 75 or worse.
So what you're saying is on the back end of this, which maybe is not exposed to the searcher, is the fact that they have disclosed maybe a salary range to Indeed, but not necessarily because then you can use it in search parameters, right? We could use it, but we still don't have it exposed to us. So when you put that dollar amount in there, the Indeed search engine is recognizing some of those behind the scene criteria and applying it, even though that data is not exposed to us.
Exactly right. And this is also a way to understand, if they're saying a Salesforce admin role is 110K and you're an entry-level candidate, you might want to be ruling out some of these because, manager, senior, these are people that are definitely going to be looking for more qualifications than you might have in the beginning.
Sure.
But, if you can punch in, Salesforce administrator 70K, which is, you and I both know from the market and our research is pretty good entry-level pay. There's still some stuff you can be applying for. You're getting applied for the rest of the year. We're talking in November. By December, you wouldn't even have applied to half of these jobs. Another thing is when you're coming back weekly, don't forget to limit yourself down to like this week's stuff too, to be first in.
Yeah,
some of these too.
Yeah, I like your tip there about number one, that filter right there, last 7 days, even last 48 hours or something like that. And we're talking about, I've got 15 minutes before my next meeting. Exactly. I've got whatever else. And, I've got this extremely limited amount of time. I'm not about to apply for jobs for the next 3 hours. So let me grab what's been posted in the last 3 days, Salesforce admin minus developer, and let me just apply for 2 or 3 jobs that, even if you're quickly applying for something, maybe you pick one job, you got 15 minutes, you jog through it and you get it done. I think that's perfect. So there's one more thing I want to touch on, and, I don't want to run this video too long, but I think this is important, and it's the ability to network. And I know we hear career coaches everywhere, myself included, hey, it's so important to network and you have to make sure you're networking. It will be, so meaningful short term, even more meaningful long term. You never know what these networks are going to turn into. And we get in this position where you just hear it all the time. And it's the same thing. It reminds me of when I tell people to interview and use weaknesses as strengths. And it's like, that's such a generic tip. I get that it's probably true. But how do I apply that as a Salesforce professional? I'm not applying to be an engineer at a manufacturing company. I'm not applying to, be the new administrator at a school. I'm applying for a Salesforce position. Therefore, the networking I do is respective to what I'm applying for. So, can we maybe talk a little bit about what does it even mean to network as a Salesforce professional? What's my goal, and how do I do it?
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of networking, and full disclaimer, I'm really comfortable with it. My friends have said I'm a natural at it, and so I want to speak to people knowing that I'm aware that it might be becoming harder for some other people.
Sure.
Right. And what I find is the problem is their mindset about networking that makes it intimidating to them. Is they often enter it into it as, I think I need to be able to give something to this person I'm networking with. What value do I have to add to their life as a new person in this space? And they need to flip the script. They need to realize in a mindset that actually it's the other person who wants to give to you.
Yeah.
When you explain who you are and what you're about, I'm new in the Salesforce space. I'm learning and I just got certified. I want to understand more about your company or the culture that you're working at or your experiences as an admin. I see that's what your title is too. What you're doing is you're flipping that script and now they're going to give to you some tips. Now, a lot of people, they start networking too late. They think I need a job tomorrow. I saw the posting. We were just spent 20 minutes looking at postings, right? And Pearson's hiring. Let me go find somebody who works at Pearson. You can find it on LinkedIn in seconds, right? That's almost a little too late because now there's going to be this added pressure of like, can this person give me extend an offer or influence the decision? And they'll sense that energy, and that's really dangerous.
That's right.
So the advice there is to hold an attitude of gratefulness or gratitude, because it's a really clean mental energy that's picked up in a conversation. And, thank you so much for your time. I'm really glad I got to learn from you. Think that through your mind, because it really cleans your energy. So you're not taking from them the hope of influencing the relationship.
And
so we have an advantage,
right? To your point, the best way to do that is to do it early. Right. So don't do it when you're looking for the job. Do it now. And I talk to a lot of people in our program about that. And the tip is, if you follow our methodology, it's sort of like technically it's get certified first, but we immediately I think it's like week 1, start getting comfortable with the certification materials. And then week 2, it's like stay on track to get certified, but get inside of LinkedIn and actually become a member of the Salesforce Ohana and start engaging and start networking. And a lot of people raise their hand and they're like, I just need to get certified. Or maybe they don't want to join the program yet because they're like, first I'm going to get certified, then I'm going to check it out. And I'm like, whoa, you don't have to do these things in such a tight progression. They're not necessarily one after the other. You need to go ahead, to your point, and start networking now, because when you finish up that certification 2 months from now, that will have been 2 months of relationships you could have been developing, that now that you're done with your certification and you announce that on LinkedIn or wherever else, those people that you've been developing relationships with over the last 2-3 months are going to go, oh, hey, he or she just got certified. Oh, that's cool. I was just talking to her and giving her some guidance. Oh, look, she gave me a shout out when she got the certification because I was, some small part of helping with that. This is cool. I think she could be part of our team, or I think she could be part of a team that I'm aware of. And then once you build those relationships, you can come back to that person and say, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but I got certified and I just wanted to thank you so much. If you know anybody who's hiring or, even in the process, I would be, happy to work with you, or under you or whatever it is. And now you're not coming begging and asking. You're coming because of a foundation that's already been built with these individuals. And that's why I think fundamentally it's so important early on. And then I think we could go on with a whole new video about how those relationships expand long term and why it's
Let me give you the key questions you got to ask in a conversation. So number 1, get them on the phone. Try not to do this over messaging with typing. This is a phone calls build relationships. It's a higher form of communication. Messaging is just communication. The questions, you're either seeking advice or support. They're very different, right? And the other thing is learn some good questions to ask them, about themselves. Tell me about how you got your first job. Tell me about what you wish you knew when you started that you know now. What's a tool you're using at your company that's not in Salesforce? Maybe I should be looking at it, and just go take a trail on Apsona or something like that. There's a lot of questions that aren't the first question that usually comes to people's mind, which is, can I get this job?
Right.
And am I qualified for that job? Like, I get it. That's why the question popped into your mind, but there's a lot others that you could be asking.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. What apps do you get? That's huge. Like, that's insider information, and it's not necessarily like this position where you're going, hey, can you put in a good word for me? And they're like, I don't know you. Like, I can't put in a good word. I'm not sticking my neck out for you. I don't know who you are. But if you come in and say, not even that you're applying for a role that they have or whatever, you could simply say, hey, that's really cool. I saw you're an admin in a company. I'm trying to study up on what, third-party apps that a lot of companies use so I can feel comfortable with those. Do you mind sharing just a couple of the tools you guys use? And then even if you do go apply for that job later, do you know what a huge hit that is for companies to come in and say, I'd like to be your admin, but maybe I'm not, the most skilled admin in the world right now, but I am aware that, I've been practicing using tools like, let me think, DocuSign, or maybe it's Conga, or maybe it's anything. There's so many apps. And if you can come in and it seems like you're just listing a few apps that you're comfortable with, and you happen to hit the nail on the head with what they have at their company, that's huge.
I know we're short on time, so I want to make sure I land this last point because it's so critical.
Yeah.
There's some numbers that people need to be aware of. This is my cell phone. I've got about 500 friends, acquaintances, phone numbers in it, right? Since this pandemic started on March 13th, how many friends have I had a phone call with? People I consider close to me, right? I can do it there's probably less than 10.
Okay.
It's just, and I'm a pretty outgoing, talkative person, and I've had less than 10 conversations. How many networking conversations have I had on this cell phone since March 13th? 3.
Wow. Okay.
And what's my point? I'm a high networker. And you out there being a little intimidated by networking, keep in mind how little you have to do to form a relationship. In the last 5 years, you've had how many coworkers and stuff like that? Like, just calling a past coworker back a year later makes them a professional relationship for life after you've left the company and stuff like that. It's so easy to just check in, how are they doing, and then learn more about their industry. I think of the people that have been important to my network for getting a Salesforce job. And it's just a few people and some really brief coffees before the pandemic started, and now they call me. One of them's 22 times certified. He's like, Justin, I think they might be doing some layoffs soon. It seems to be difficult here at this consultants agency, but other people in my network that I'm talking to, this is him now. Yeah. They're making moves. They're getting a new job. So I'm thinking it's just my company I'm at and I got to switch. And I said, absolutely, man, go get that story. Within 3 weeks, he had called 3 people because of his networking. One person who was a VP at a bank was like, hey, we're fans of Stuart. We're fans of Stuart. You call me back if you can't find something, I'll make it. That's what awesome. Professional networking can do for you.
That is spot on. So I think that drives it home. I mean, and there are 1,000 stories like that. And that's not the exception to the rule. That is the rule. That's just the way it works. So I think that's spot on. So I know we're short on time. I know we want to wrap this up. We don't want the audience to have to sit here for their whole lunch hour. But thank you so much for taking the time to be on, Justin. I really appreciate your time here. Obviously, some things that I'm not aware of that you were able to share here, which I think is amazing. So definitely a resource to the Salesforce community. What is the best way for people to connect with you, reach out to you if they do have a quick question or just want to say thanks?
You can email me at justin@careercloud.com. Happy to answer any questions or send you some recommendations, or most importantly, connect you. As the advanced form of networking is to be a connector. and connect people to other people that they need to talk to. I help a lot of people with resumes and mock interviewing. Happy to do that as well. Just kind of take some time usually to get on my calendar. And then you'll see me in Salesforce for Everyone Facebook group as well. I'm really active in there. Yep. And answering people's questions whenever I can there. I think I might be getting the title philosopher a little bit though, because I do tend to rattle on some very philosophical concepts of the Salesforce Ohana.
Right up my alley, trust me. All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Justin. Be sure to reach out to Justin if you have any questions, even if it's just a quick thanks, because I know you are bringing so much value to this community and it does not go unnoticed. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks.